What's going on, everyone? Yay! Happy Wednesday, aka Hump Day, aka one day before my birthday. And welcome back to Sin City Crypto Live. My name is David. I'll be one of your co-hosts. And today, like every day, we're coming at you live from our studio in Las Vegas, Nevada with our daily live show. Today, we are talking about a new bill proposal from Robin's favorite boothang, Elizabeth Warren, and also the ICE CEO. No, we're not talking the Immigration Customs Enforcement. We're talking the Intercontinental something. They want to hand over all of crypto to the SEC, to Gary Gensler. Speaking of Gary Gensler, he spoke today with Yahoo. We'll cover that. We're also talking about Ripple. We're talking about new investments flowing into crypto and much, much more. But before we can talk about all that, I have to introduce you to your other co-host, Big Rob. What's up?
Hola! It's your boy Big Rob back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're an entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take the old, the boring, the stale information, and we package it up in a fun and sexy way, like Christmas presents.
Bitcoin sitting at
Bitcoin's sitting at 16,800.
what?
Same spot it's been since the last time I did this intro.
It has. Guys, how's the chat feeling today? How you guys feeling?
You know, they're
Let us
feeling
know.
empty because there's nobody in here. Where's everybody at, man?
You don't say that.
If you like this video, maybe it'll get more people in here, right?
Guys, if you're in here already, you obviously like our show. Like the video, man.
We only got 19 likes.
Like
Hold
them.
on,
Come
stop.
on, bro.
Stop.
Sammy, welcome back. Like the video, Sammy. All right? Like the video. Maybe we'll talk Doge today. Who knows? Who knows?
It was Doge's birthday yesterday. Or the
It
day
was.
before. I think it was yesterday.
And Sammy keeps saying Olay.
It's
Drop the Y, my friend, and it'll be good.
You know what? I kind of like the Olay. It's got a nice little ring to it.
Cafe Olay.
Okay, that's right.
All right,
Cafe
Robin,
Olay.
congratulations. The Rooster did its job yesterday. You brought the Rooster 5-1. Just demolished.
6-1.
Okay, I need to know real quick. Ronaldo was benched.
Mhm.
His replacement scored a hat trick. What do you see moving forward?
Boy,
bro?
Ramos, he's
He
like
was
21 years old, bro.
he was a
He's
beast,
gonna
bro.
be the next.
What are your thoughts on that? Are you happy?
Because
Are you-
Ronaldo, this is his 5th World Cup,
The most ever.
Yeah, and so
No, I think he
will
scored
he
the
play? Will he play a 6th one? Probably not.
Hell no.
He'll be like over 40 years old.
He did just sign a $200 million a year deal to play in Saudi Arabia, I believe.
Yeah.
It will probably go back. You will see.
$200 million a year.
Now,
That's insane.
do you think he'll? You think Ronaldo will play another World Cup
No,
At
he's
over 40?
37.
at 41 years old?
He's
I think so.
37, bro.
Same thing happened with Messi 4 years ago.
Messi, I like
He
Messi.
retired 4 years ago and then went back.
Messi's a beast.
Yeah,
I know.
Messi's
Messi's got the weirdest shots where they look like they just trickle in, but he still makes it. That's all that
Now,
counts.
my question is for you, Dave. Imagine if the United States we didn't lose last time, and now he's going to go against Portugal. You really want to see 6-1 in the United States?
I'd
or
rather
you want
see
to just
6-1 than my country not even make the World Cup.
better? No, you want to. It's better. It's better the way it was. Trust me.
You got zero to talk about. Italy didn't even make the World Cup. I don't want to hear it. All right.
Today's show will talk nothing but
The World Cup.
World Cup.
Just kidding.
and international play. The corruption from FIFA from top to bottom.
Oh yeah.
You want to talk about corruption in the SEC and in politics? Woo! Man, they got their playbook literally from FIFA headquarters, bro.
Yeah.
I'm talking
Right.
about embezzlement. There it is.
can
You know
see
what,
on Netflix.
Robin?
Okay.
Liberty and Trust said Ronaldo was washed up, and Portuguese team didn't need him anymore.
You know what?
After watching that game,
I
I
think
can
Portugal
see.
was making a statement.
Yeah.
They were like, "Hey, I understand that everybody associates Portugal's greatness with Ronaldo, which, fair criticism. I mean, I get it. He's the best player in the world. So they were like, you know what? Check out what we can do without him. And so
Jeremy said, I thought this was going to be about crypto and Gary Gensler. It is. Speaking of crypto, Robin, what are the crypto markets doing?
We will talk crypto, I promise. But first, I want to give some love to the chat. If you're new here, we will talk about crypto. But if you're also new here, I want to say hola to you. So, Crypto Hands, Enrique Rodriguez, Juice Toes, Martinez
Juicy
A. We got Red Robles with Liberty and Trust, Stefan Jump, and Jeremy. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto. Let's get it going.
Let's get it going, baby.
Let's talk some crypto.
Let's talk some crypto.
All right, so we got Bitcoin coming in at $16,827. Ethereum coming in at $1,200. So not too much movement here in the major caps. But taking a look at the biggest movers
Guys,
for
FOMC is in 7 days.
Oh, my Lord.
You're not going to want to miss our FOMC special.
You don't want to miss it.
Telling you guys, we got some amazing guests coming on. Gareth Soloway being one of them. Magic Internet Money. I mean, we're going to...
So GMX Trust Wallet is still pumping up 20% for the week. Big gainer. I mean... Taking a look at just the Trust Wallet
token. Do you use Trust Wallet? I use
Trust
Wallet. I like Trust Wallet.
I like Trust Wallet. I don't know what the hell you would use the token for, but...
Well, I guess I haven't really looked into it, but I think...
man, look at this chart, man. That's the 1 month there. A firm 2x in the last 30 days and a firm 3x from the last 3-month bottom. And... yeah, man. So big movement there. You know what? I want to know, what the hell does Trust Wallet token do? I'll be honest with you. I haven't really looked into it because I just assume it doesn't really do much. But maybe I'm wrong. So
it definitely has some utility, but
so we'll look into it. I mean, it is what it is. I wouldn't FOMO into it though. Taking a look at the rest of the markets, everything is pretty flat here. There's not a lot in both the red or green. Some of the biggest losers for today, not only my co-host, but we also have Arweave down 6.79% and Immutable X also down, Phantom down. And the stock market is pretty flat. We did have a couple big red days the last 2 days, which has been surprising because crypto has not dropped in the same way that the stock market has, and we have seen pretty much a 1-to-1 correlation. So kind of curious there. That's what I got there on an overview of the markets. You got any Bitcoin charts there, or what's going on there, David?
Actually, so since you ended on the stock market, I want to take a look at the stock market chart, more specifically, the Dow Jones Industrial Average, the Dow Jones. So this is the weekly chart on Dow Jones. And what you guys are going to understand about TA is this, right? You go down to 1 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 5 hour, day, week. The higher time frame you go up, the more the patterns mean, the more the indicators mean. And here on the weekly chart on the Dow Jones, we did see a falling, broadening wedge, which already has broken to the upside, which is what it typically does about 75% of the time. And it looks like we were getting ready to retest. But coming into the end of the year, you should expect Black Friday, as far as consumer spending, was a big day. I believe it was 3 or 4% more than what they were expecting it to come in. So typically what you do see in December, you see retail stocks like, let's say, Burlington, Target, Walmart, those do tend to rally in anticipation of higher earnings.
Burlington? I'm just curious.
I bought some things at Burlington.
Burlington drives me crazy. There's too much stuff in there, man.
I mean,
too much stuff.
You know what you're looking for, then it's a little easier.
Like, if you know what you're looking for, good luck finding it, because it's like 70 aisles of just straight size medium or size large.
Oh yeah, they don't have your size medium. I see what you're saying there. But back to the chart here and what it's telling us. So typically, the way you want to measure a move is you want to take the middle width of this wedge here, which shows us a 10% move that we should see from the breakout. Of course, you are going to get retracements, but we should settle somewhere in around 36,500, which perfectly coincides with the top we had back in December of last year. Now, will it happen? I don't know. These are just probabilities, of course, when you're speaking with TA. If we drop down to lower time frames to the 4-hour time frame, you can see we've kind of been in this, we're making higher highs, not necessarily higher lows. And we see the stochastics, we are oversold on the stochastics. And so again, with anticipation of some of these retail stocks coming in, people anticipating high earnings in Q1, following increased sales in Q4 of this year, plus rumors the Fed is going to slow down on the rate hikes. I believe now the consensus is 50 basis points. And we're going to cover all of that, what it means, what it affects. I mean, from top to bottom, FOMC next Wednesday. Again, I'm going to keep pushing it. Make sure to come join us. But some bad news on the Dixie. And so this is the Dixie on the 1 day. You can see we've kind of been in this broadening, rising wedge since January of this year. We did break below it, and now we are in a falling wedge. And falling wedges do typically break to the upside. Now, I do expect us to retest this trend line here, which will be right at $111. Again, guys, these are just probabilities. You could trace sideways.
So in this traditional environment, what's your vibe here? Do you think that we bottomed as far as the U.S. stocks, the stock market? Do you think that the bottom of the recession, is here? I don't think we're going to rally out. My personal vibe's that I don't see us rallying out anytime soon. I think we got steady long-term growth ahead of us.
If you take a look, if you look at just charts and TA, right, it tells you we should see a rally. But if you take a look at what's happening, the sentiment of investors, news.
Hey, China's they are lifting all bans on COVID.
They are?
Yeah, so they're not doing the you have to quarantine outside in the streets anymore.
But I thought they were building camps.
Yeah, well, I think there's just so much pushback on all of that they literally just 180'd yesterday. And so,
well, if that's true, I'm happy to hear that. Obviously.
Yeah. And
I'm telling you guys.
And so the country's opening back up. And so the only place that you have to have like your phone that shows yellow or green or whatever it is at nursing homes and the high risk areas.
Let me ask you this question, Robin. If the Russia-Ukraine war is over, right? Russia pulls out or whatever happens, that thing is done. China stops these lockdowns. Supply chain starts coming back, right? Now we're back to paying regular, not regular, but do you think that can naturally bring inflation down? First part of the question, yes or no?
I think inflation peaked.
But do you think if those things...
I think it's going down regardless.
Okay, but if those things happen, can it push it down even further?
I think so.
Okay.
I think globally, because remember the economies are all intertwined, interconnected, and the price of energy in Europe is affecting the price of energy globally. The same way that you have free markets, if the price of oil here in the U.S. is say $60 a barrel, $80 a barrel, if it's $100 a barrel in the U.K., it's going to drive up the global price because the markets all balance out themselves. In the same way, if you think about how free markets work, the price of Bitcoin on Binance is 16.5 and the price of Bitcoin on Coinbase is 17K. They're going to balance themselves out. They're going to meet in the middle, and the price will, over a set amount of time, a short-term time, usually, they'll meet somewhere in the middle, and the price will balance out to about 16.8. That's how markets work. Same thing happens with energy, with commodities, that's just how trade works. And so inflation right now is so dependent on energy. And so when you reference the war between Ukraine and Russia, it has put a stranglehold on the supply chain when it comes to natural gas in Europe. And so if you're looking to bring down inflation, that is the biggest factor in inflation right now. And if the catalyst to that whole debacle there with the supply chain, basically Russia cutting off the supply chain of natural gas to Europe, if that gets remedied somehow, immediately, I would see an immediate cause and effect that would go to inflation first in Europe, and then that would transition over to globally. So
correct.
Answer is yes.
So if we do see those things happen, real quick, also, we got a $10 super chat from Liberty and Trusted. Let's kick this off right. Stack, accumulate, hodl. Cannot disagree with that advice, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
We appreciate the support. So if that happens and inflation starts coming down naturally, right? Can you see the Fed pivoting?
It depends on what your definition of pivot is. I think we kind of agree we're going to probably see a 0.5% interest rate hike, right? So if you consider pivoting a halt in interest rate hikes, then no, they're still going to, until inflation, the core CPI number and just CPI number itself, if they were to come in more in line for the target, which is 2 to 3%, then at that point, I could see a pivot on the, hey, we're not going to increase anymore. But we're still increasing until we get inflation to come down at least to sub 5, right?
You know, an interesting theory I had, well, not theory, but, I was doing
aluminum hat.
I was doing research, for our FOMC show on Wednesday. And, the fractional reserve rate for these banks, when COVID happened, went down to 0. Right. And so the idea is the less money these banks have to hold as a fractional reserve, the more money they have to lend out. And so why haven't we seen the Fed bump that number back up to 3, 4, 5% if they want to take liquidity and money away from the market? Wouldn't that be a better option than continuing to raise interest rates? It would have a more direct effect and impact quickly than just to raise interest rates and wait for it to make its way through the system. What are your thoughts on that?
No, all valid points. I feels it.
Yeah, and I plan on going into a full breakdown of that too, by the way, next Wednesday. So
I'm excited, man. And I know we've been amping up this FOMC show.
It'll live up to the hype. I'm telling you,
it's shaping up to be one of our best episodes. I already know it.
100%.
You know what else is fractionalized is the amount of viewers that have liked this damn video. It's like 1/3 of y'all hit. We will not continue this show until we have at least 80 likes in here.
Hey. Okay.
You. Why haven't you hit the like button yet?
Talking to me?
I'm talking to that person right now. If you're driving, pull over, put the hazard lights on. Don't do it while you're driving. And then hit the like button. Thank you.
I do have a Bitcoin chart I want to show as well. We went over some traditional charts, and let's take a look at our good old friend BTC Bitcoin. This is on the 1 hour. I got some fib levels on here. We took the swing low of 15.5 and the swing high of 17.5. And so if you know my TA, and I'm not a TA guru by any means, like some of these other TA guys in here, like Forrest and Gareth and all these other guys, but I do like to see flags, and I do see a bear flag, which should break to the downside. Well, where should we see the price action? So the
Call
first
me crazy, but I see a rainbow flag right now.
A what?
A rainbow flag.
Yeah. Well, it's actually a red and orange flag, missing a few colors, but yeah.
Oh, there's the green and the blue.
Yeah, but these are not part of
That's
the flag.
a rainbow flag.
That's not okay, Robin, it's a rainbow flag. So the first level I'm looking at where we wicked down on this candle here today at midnight is this 382 fib level, which is 16,684. If we do break below that, expect to see some support at 1645. We did consolidate around this area back in late November. Had a nice rally up to the 236 level, which we saw some resistance, and then made our local swing high, which was 17,500. This was on December 4th around 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, guys, this is what 90% of bear markets are. They're boring. Sideways action, $100 move, $500 move, $200 move, sideways for a week, and then a $500 move. So if you're looking to make money and you're trying to scalp profits, you want to go to the lower time frames, 15-minute, 30-minute, 1 hour. You're looking for more long-term, bigger moves. You want to take a look at the daily. Just know you're going to wait longer for those bigger moves to play out, whether it's to the upside or to the downside.
I didn't want to interrupt you here, but I wanted to get
You always want to interrupt me. Go ahead.
Okay, actually, I take that back. So I chose not to interrupt you this time, but I wanted to get the vibe on our last subject from the chat. You guys think that the economy is bottomed? Put a 1 in the chat if you think that we're done with the recession, at least the bottom of the recession, and from here on out, nothing but growth. Or put a 2 in the chat. You think it's doom and gloom? If Apple's going to go under, Twitter is going to to be new king of the world, and the economies are going to crumble.
You know a great place to put your money, guys, when interest rates are going up is in financial institutions, bank stocks, broker dealers. We've seen.
We're a crypto channel. You're telling me. You're trying to tell the viewers here they need to go throw their cashola in bank stocks.
Look,
Stop.
we're a crypto channel, right? But if I find a way where you can make some money when everything is down, then I'm going to share it with people. Whether you like it or not, that's up to you. But what we can't deny is over the last quarter and a half, we've seen Bank of America, Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, massive returns, massive revenue. Why? Because when the Federal Reserve, the effective federal funds rate moves up, guess what? Your credit card interest payments go up. Mortgage lending, the amount of money you pay in interest goes up. Car loans, they go up. And guess who services those loans? Banks and banking institutions. So just saying, Forrest comes on here and he talks about hedging against the current economy with oil. Same thing, right?
You know, it's interesting.
You want to be a well-rounded investor.
The ones and twos are pretty split, but it's definitely leaning more towards the twos.
So two is we still got a way to go.
Yeah, twos doom and gloom more further down on the economy.
Honestly, man, I think there's too much in the air. Like I said, if this war in Russia goes away, if China gets rid of their COVID lockdowns and every month or so when cases start to spike, they shut everything down. If that stuff goes away and the supply chain can come back, then I think naturally the economy is going to, it's going to start going back to where it was. And then you're going to see the Fed start to either halt or pivot away and start cutting rates again. But, as far as going back to zero, I wouldn't expect that anytime soon. That is all we got for the Market Watch. Let's go ahead and get into
the shout outs on the chat. I do want to say we got North by Northwest Crypto. I add an extra north there. We got Santiago, Adam Clark, Eli, Dodo, Great Guy Gav, Matt Spunt. And we got Crypto Adoption coming, Mark Thomas, Gary, and Beachhead. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
What's up, peeps? All right. So the title, so the theme of our video or our live show today, you saw it in the title and the thumbnail, is the U.S. and some regulators, some politicians, they want to hand over full control of our space to none other than Gary the Gun and the SEC. By the way, if you're a member of this channel, first of all, thank you. Second of all, go ahead and use your Gary the Gun emoji, Gary Gensler emoji, because Robin's boo. She's absolutely championing a new bill and says crypto will be regulated as securities, says the ICE boss and Elizabeth Warren, source from Cointelegraph. Senator Elizabeth Warren's bill seeks to hand control to the SEC, imposing new obligations on centralized crypto firms. Speaking on December 6th at the Financial Services Conference by Goldman Sachs Group Incorporated, Sprecher, which is the ICE CEO, and Rocco, real quick, ICE in crypto, it stands for Intercontinental something. Will you find out for me?
So I'm just curious. Do you think Goldman Sachs paid her to speak at their conference?
No, you're laughing, but I don't doubt it.
Like when I say doubt it, like is
don't say zero.
99% probability that she got paid for that.
Chances are high.
Yeah.
Now she did. Mr. Sprecher confidently stated crypto assets are going to be regulated and dealt like securities. He also argued new regulation was not necessarily required for crypto, as the legal frameworks are already there in terms of securities, and they are, quote, just going to be implemented more strongly. So I want to break this down real quick. Do you think there should be more oversight on these centralized exchanges, Robin? Because they're essentially, they run like banks, right? Fractional reserve, they lend your money out, they make money. Should they have more oversight?
Yes, but this
centralized exchanges, guys.
Yes,
not decentralized.
Bill proposal is not that. I mean, sure, it might address the centralized exchanges, but this bill, this is the Death Star of crypto, right?
The Death Star of crypto.
It is.
Explain yourself.
Because it hands all power and all regulatory authority to Gary Gensler. And the only thing that Gary Gensler will come out and say is a commodity which would fall outside of his jurisdiction, is Bitcoin.
So is Bitcoin the only safe asset to have money in right now?
If this bill were to pass or have some kind of support, then yes. And this is literally the doomsday scenario. So when we discussed the possibility, we discussed the ramifications of, the...
Real quick, Robin, the ICE, it's Intercontinental Exchange Incorporated.
Okay.
That's what it's named.
So...
Thank you, Rocco.
Maybe I forget what I was talking
Sorry, I
about.
apologize. The bill. You're talking about the bill.
Yeah.
If everything gets handed over to Gary.
Yeah, I'm telling you, this is literally the absolute worst case scenario you can have for crypto.
But why? Why do you think
Because
that?
it literally would make everything an exchange. Everything would have to be delisted. Everything would crumble if the SEC was deemed the regulatory authority of all cryptos, and all cryptos were deemed securities outside of Bitcoin. And that's what they're pushing for.
Let me ask you a speculative question, Robin. If you were a project founder, right? You launched a project. Let's say you're the founder of Polygon. And you now, in order to operate in the US, you have to go and register with the Securities and Exchange Commission. What are you doing?
Here's the thing. This is all post ICO. And so your tokens, that's all in the question. You know what I mean? And we already know that Bitcoin network doesn't work without Bitcoin. Ethereum network doesn't work without Ethereum.
Like a car needs gas, right?
Yeah, exactly. It needs a motor. That's what it is. I mean, you can have the frame, you can have, the wheels on there, you can have all that stuff, but it ain't going nowhere without the token that powers it. That's the whole thing. Bitcoin without Bitcoin is just a bunch of wallet addresses. It doesn't do anything. And so you need to pay people to operate the system. And so you need to pay the miners in Bitcoin. This is the same thing for Ethereum. So for your proof of stake, you need to pay the consensus mechanism, which for proof of stake is people locking up their tokens in a trust manner to secure the network. And if you take that away, it all crumbles. And so if you deem Ethereum, let's just say you deem XRP as a security and you win the case and you're not allowed to trade it in the US, it doesn't work here. And you can put that on Cardano, on Binance, you can put that on Polygon, you can put that on every token that they deem a security is basically done. It's broke. It's no good. Unless you're transacting with wrapped Bitcoin.
This is going to be
theoretically, I guess you can make it work with wrapped Bitcoin, but it's not going to happen. What's going to happen is crypto will be banned, crypto will be dead in the United States, and it will move forward elsewhere. And the entire crypto ecosystem will take a 5 to 10 year hit. And we won't see crypto adoption until 2030. That's what would happen if this bill passes.
Well, very doom and gloom.
It is. It's freaking trash, bro. And we saw a huge uprising against the last crypto bill that had similar language, not in the regards to the SEC, but in regards to securities and regulation. And there was a revolt when it came to Congress on that one. And they 180'd on that bill. So will this bill get enough support? I doubt it. I don't think it'll pass. I think there's enough people that are crypto-centric and
we definitely have more people. We definitely have more politicians in our corner now than we did a few months ago, a few years ago. I mean, you're seeing people come out, people in high places like politicians come out and say, guys, this FTX debacle is not crypto. It's not blockchain. It's just one bad person. And whether you regulate the crap out of this person or not, they're going to find a way to do it, right?
Yeah.
The whole war on drugs, the whole war on gun, it doesn't matter if you have it in you to scam people or do other bad things, you're going to do it, whether there's laws against it or not. So that ideology that FTX ruined crypto is complete BS. Did it set it back? Yes. Did it change the narrative a little bit in the short term? Yes. But if you fully understand and you're in the space and you continue to learn, that's like a small blip on the radar of what crypto and blockchain is going to become and is on the path to become. I want to pivot to Gary.
Yeah, I want to know from the chat. Are you guys freaking out over this bill? Put a one in the chat if you think it's this is.
And when is Elizabeth Warren going to retire?
This is a firestorm. If this is a firestorm, it freaks you out. Put a one in the chat. If you think this is just a nice try moment, no chance in the world, put a two in the chat.
No, seriously. When is she going to retire, man? Nancy Pelosi stepped down. Hopefully she's going to retire soon. All these freaking people who are so out of touch with everything and just line their pockets and spew garbage that they get paid to spew, when are they going to be gone? Like, that's what I want to know. These people have zero idea. If he sat down with Elizabeth Warren and asked her 3 basic questions about crypto and blockchain, she probably wouldn't be able to answer it. But she wants to pass bills to regulate the industry. Does that make any sense to you guys? Because it doesn't make any sense to me.
Now, what scares me is that if they propose this bill and then they just change wording in there so that way it's not quite as bad, but it's still just as bad for the industry, right? That's what kind of scares me. And
here's the absolute beauty of crypto, okay? Let's just say, worst case scenario, the US comes out and they ban cryptocurrency. Well, guess what? There's still 250 something other countries.
Well, they won't ban crypto.
That
bill will basically make all projects list as a security, and they deem all the tokens as securities. And so if you want to issue those out, you got to issue them out in the same way as stocks. Basically, nobody would qualify. Nobody could go IPO and issue stocks. You can't issue out stocks of Cardano. It's just not possible. Like, you can't tokenize stock Cardano. You can't. You can try.
We'll see what happens. But what I was trying to say is, crypto is not tied to just the U.S. It's not a U.S.-based company that only trades on the stock exchange. It's global, and so even if it's unfavorable here in the U.S., guess what? That doesn't mean all value is gone. And so that's what we got to take away. All right, let's move on to Gary the Gun. Oh, why do we call him Gary the Gun? Because he's always effing stuff up. All right, and so he was on Yahoo today, and he discussed. And just listen to one particular word he uses probably 5 or 6 times. Ready? Rocco, ready?
Back to Yahoo Finance Live. I'm Jennifer Schonberger. I'm joined now by the chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, here at SEC HQ to talk about regulating cryptocurrencies in the aftermath of FTX's failure. Chair Gensler, it is wonderful to be with you here at HQ.
Great to be with you, Jennifer, and your listeners.
Thanks so much for sitting down with me. So many lawmakers are pointing fingers at the SEC over FTX's collapse. You have said numerous times, rules, security laws are in place and they apply to crypto. This is an issue of non-compliance. Why didn't the SEC enforce rules on the books? Could that have prevented FTX's collapse?
We are enforcing them. The Securities and Exchange Commission, I couldn't be prouder, and it started under my predecessor, Jay Clayton, has brought over 100 enforcement cases in this space. And what we've said to what is largely a non-compliant field, there's about 10,000 of these crypto tokens. And then there's not just dozens, but maybe hundreds of service providers, broker-dealers. They might call themselves exchanges. They might call themselves other things. You might think of them as the casinos, wherein the investing public is looking for a better future. And because most of these tokens are securities,
I'm sorry, Robin, but when was the last time you went to a casino because you wanted to secure your future?
You know what? I come from a gambling background, and I went down a deep rabbit hole. So,
were you ever there to secure your future?
I mean,
were there to
financially,
make-
I was delusional at one point. I thought I could make my my rent and mortgage by
Yeah,
gambling
but
my way.
that's
out
not
of-
your future. He's comparing investing to gambling.
Yeah, I get it.
Uh,
Honestly, in his eyes, it makes sense. Okay, if you think that all cryptos are scams and Ponzi schemes and securities, unregistered securities, and that none of them really do anything, and that it's just a cash grab. If that's what you truly believe in, then an exchange is like a casino, right? You have all these, like, that's where you go and buy little tokens, you know, you go buy your little lottery tickets. Eh? His analogy makes sense in his own little brain bubble, but
Someone said he looks like Voldemort from Harry Potter. I love you guys. Our community is hella funny. I love you guys. All right, let's continue.
That the storefronts, if you wish, or the casinos need to come into compliance with our time-tested laws. And what that means is basically not using customer funds as many of them do. Their business model right now is offering the public, they say, they're purporting to offer them an interest return in crypto. 4, 8, 12, sometimes 15 or even 20% returns, and then possibly trading against their customers, trading ahead of their customers.
Here's the problem, okay? He's lumping every exchange into what, let's say, Nexo does, or what Celsius was doing, or what FTX was doing. That's not how it is. If you have your money on Kraken, okay, for example, I'm not saying use Kraken. I'm not advocating for them. They're not paying me to say this. If you use Kraken, the only staking service they provide is stuff that you can stake on chain anyways. And it's the same or equal amount to what you would get if you staked it on chain anyways. It's just more convenient for people who don't know how to do it, or who don't want to go through the extra hassle of setting up a wallet, staking it on chain, blah, 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 blah. So don't compare. That's the issue here, guys. And that is what's so frustrating, is you're lumping everything together. Coinbase is not offering 15, 20% interest. Kraken is not offering 15 to 20% interest unless the chain that is staked on is offering that similar amount. And so that whole thing is, should exchanges use customer funds? No. If you have something set up like KuCoin, where you have a spot account and a trading account or a margin account, sure. Yes, it's different. But what FTX did is wrong. If you didn't want a margin account, then your money should have never been commingled or traded. That is illegal. Should they pay for that? Absolutely. But if I want to go in there, just like the banks do, just like a broker dealer does, that's literally what all of them do. Fractional reserve banking. Why is it fractional? Because the other big part of the fraction is being invested and they're making money with it. But instead of paying you back trash, like 0.05%, they're paying you back 5, 6, 7, 8%. But of course, there's risk, right? If you're making more money than the safest investment out there, which is US Treasury securities, you're taking more risk. And so people got to understand that. And do you want to have some sort of regulation over how to educate people, what kind of risks they should expect, or signing a waiver saying you could lose all this money? Sure. But don't lump everything together like Coinbase and Kraken. They're offering people 20% interest. That's not, no. All right, let's go back.
Lending that out. Anywhere else in finance, these conflicts are not allowed and they're separated out. So we have publicly been saying to these crypto intermediaries, they might call themselves crypto lending, they might call them crypto exchanges, these crypto intermediaries, in essence the casinos, if I might say it again, to come into compliance with the law. We brought a number of actions. Crypto exchange Poloniex last year in September of 2021, when a large exchange, Coinbase, wanted to get into the crypto lending space. We said that would not be compliant with the laws the way they were set up. We brought actions against.
Okay, real quick. So Brian Armstrong made this very public in that before they even launched it, okay, so Coinbase is a US publicly traded company, okay? They have to submit reports to the SEC, all that stuff, fully regulated, okay? Fully regulated company. They go to the SEC and say, hey, we want to roll out an earn program. And SEC says no. And they say, okay, but you're not in compliance. What do we need to do to be in compliance? And guess what?
Well, here's an interesting thing, though.
It was nothing but crickets.
No. But here's the interesting thing. They didn't roll out crypto
Exactly.
lending. No, but that actually ended up being a good thing, right?
What do you mean? What?
No.
Well,
I mean, okay.
okay.
And now FTX offered staking and
Right, but we don't
lend,
know how
but-
they would have gotten the rewards. We don't know what kind of rewards. We don't know if
But that's
we
what
don't
I'm
know.
saying. But
because they never came
what
to
is
fruition.
But what have we been beating the drum about all day, every day? Like, yo, don't lend out your crypto. Like right now, there's so much uncertainty. Don't lend out your crypto. Why? Because there's so much possibility of it being lent out and not coming back to you. And I mean, I'm not a Gary Gensler fan. I'm just saying that when it comes to exchanges, and I know he's basketing everything here, but when it comes to exchanges, maybe we shouldn't have freaking. Maybe they were onto something. Maybe he was onto something. Maybe he did Coinbase a favor, because maybe Coinbase would have launched that earn program and they would have lent out your crypto, and maybe they would have lent it out to FTX. They all intermingle funds here. Exchanges borrow from one another all the time. I'm just saying I don't think it's likely. I think Coinbase would have
Rob,
done.
okay,
I
Rob,
think they would have done their due diligence
Rob,
and minimized risk.
yes, Robin, in hindsight, yes. But my point is that's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make is you have a company here that is trying to abide by laws and regulations.
I understand.
And when they ask for clarity, it crickets.
I understand.
That's the problem.
I understand
here,
the point
bro.
you're trying to make.
That's the
I just
problem.
think it's an interesting thought that the point you're trying to make is on a subject that in hindsight was probably good for Coinbase to not have exposure to lending. And their exposure to lending was halted because of the SEC. So we also look at the regulation and the constraints that you have in Japan with their exchanges. FTX.Japan was perfectly fine, 100% solvent. All the money was there. They don't offer lending there either. And so perhaps that maybe to operate here in the US, stop doing the lending. I don't personally want lending. If I want to stake my damn tokens, I'll go stake it on chain my damn self. And I feel like if somebody else wants to do it, they should go do that. But I don't think they should give it to a company that buys and sells tokens and lends tokens out. I don't think that you should be staking there, because that's a conflict of interest.
I don't know, but it was meeting already with the Gary Gensler. FTX was meeting with the Gary Gensler back then. And so maybe they didn't want competition, or maybe Coinbase, because it's public trade, he has to refund stuff. FTX can disappear with the money. I don't know.
S-Dog said, Bank of America lends out my money, just saying a 10 times leverage. Here's the difference, though, my
they're
friend.
FDIC and insured back by the
Yes,
government. So
exactly.
if they go under, they fail.
They
then
got central bank.
They
to
get
fall
bailed
back
out.
on.
Yeah.
That's the problem, guys. And so, I am not against putting guidelines in for centralized exchanges, but what FTX and Alameda did is absolutely ridiculous. It's like, and I forget if it was Gary or someone brought up actually a good point. Said it's like the New York Stock Exchange if they just have a hedge fund and they send funds back and forth. Like that's not fine. That's not okay, right? So if you want to put in guidelines for that, sure, I'm all for it. But don't lump everything together. Don't lump decentralized exchanges, decentralized wallets. Don't lump those in together. Don't compare Aave to FTX. Don't compare Compound to Nexo. Don't compare MakerDAO to Celsius. It's not fair. They're two completely different things. It's either you don't truly understand, or you understand and you're just turning the other way. Let's go back. There's about a few more minutes on this Gary Gensler interview with Yahoo. So let's continue here and see what else he has to say.
Crypto lending platforms, including BlockFi, and we will continue to be a vigorous securities regulator. But I really do suggest to these intermediaries, these storefronts, these casinos, if you wish, to come into compliance work with the SEC to get into compliance, disaggregate these businesses.
So given that you've laid out that firms cannot use customer assets to trade with.
Our laws say this.
And-
Congress has
right,
said this. You
right.
can't use
So-
somebody's
so-
stock assets
But that's
either.
exactly what FTX was doing. So it sounds like they were in flagrant violation of SEC law.
I can't
Can we-
speak to any one case
Oh,
or
no,
any
of
one
course.
situation. But our securities laws say that you need to properly segregate customer funds. You also shouldn't be running a broker-dealer or a hedge fund and an exchange. The New York Stock Exchange doesn't
so it was
also
good.
have a hedge fund on the side
That's what I was saying. You
and
shouldn't have a
trade
hedge
against
fund.
their customers.
You
Right.
shouldn't
So to your
have
point-
your staking, lending, and venture capital and your exchange that makes markets. They should be separate.
Exactly. And so,
And-
to
and-
that extent, I agree.
I agree 100% with everything Gary's saying if it applies strictly to centralized exchanges. And I think that makes sense.
Okay,
Just leave crypto alone, stop suing freaking projects, and let the environment grow. I understand some people are going to invest and lose money because projects go under, but that's just investing.
you know how many people
The same
invest
thing-
in penny stocks?
That's what I'm saying.
Me
Yeah.
included. Like, and I go in there expecting it to go to zero. But I like, but
that's the exact answer. Is that you can't protect people from making crappy investments. It's just part of the game, man. If your degenerate family member comes up who has been irresponsible his whole life, his entire life, say it's your uncle, or your brother, or your sister, or your auntie, or granddad, whoever it is, somebody you know is hella irresponsible when it
Robin,
comes
you
to
have
money.
billionaires that make bad investments.
And so you got this degen family member come up to you and they're like, hey man, I want to start a taco truck. I need to borrow $80,000. Would you in your life give them money? Like,
Yeah.
no,
Wait,
it's a
what?
bad investment. Is it illegal for him to ask you for money? Is it illegal for you to give money? No, it's just common sense. It's a bad move. And you want to go invest in the newest dog coin? Go ahead.
Sammy,
Go ahead. Go invest in the newest dog coin. You're probably going to lose your money. But to sit here and regulate the industry because you don't want to expose anybody to risk, it's outside of the markets because nothing is risk-free.
guys, we got 300 people in here. If you're new, please say hello. We'd love to welcome you to the Sinner community.
When we get to 350, our new club limit is
Yeah,
350. So
So
if
yeah,
you're not familiar, 350, we will open up the club.
that's right. What do you guys think? Okay, do you think Gary's got some decent points when it comes to centralized exchanges? Put a 1. If you think he's completely out of his mind, put a 2. But if you break it down in like just common sense, right? Exchanges take your money, they lend it out, they give you a percentage, they earn fees on transactions. Does that now sound like a broker dealer to you? It does. It's like a broker dealer / a bank. And these industries are heavily regulated. And so these centralized exchanges should also have some sort of regulation, right? Whereas when we see FTX and Alameda Research, an exchange and a hedge fund commingling funds and trading back and forth, that should not be allowed. That should not be allowed. And he keeps saying, these laws are in place. Well, you met with the CEO multiple times. Literally, the bank they used, Silvergate, the money was being redirected to Alameda. And so, yes, these are in place. But what did you do, Gary Gensler, to enforce these? What did you do? Anything? No. And now when stuff hits the fan, you come out and say, and you lump everything together, which is completely unfair. You lump everything as, we need regulation, the Securities and Exchange Commission, blah, blah, blah.
Chat's
Power.
pretty much split down the middle on the ones and twos. What was the ones and twos again?
One, he has some points
yeah.
that you agree with. 2, he's just out of his mind.
I do want to give a little acknowledgement here to the chat. We got a bunch of new people in here today. So if you're new here, also say hello so that way we can drop an hola to you. And that's an hola with an O, not an H in the beginning. So real quick, we got Let's see. We got Toby Chapman, Doc Jed, The Great, Cape Crypto, Mad Willie. We got Crypto Profits, Aristides, Darth I.O., Asset Thunder 4-5, Dennis Jung, and then we got Ultimaya, Guns and Loaded. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
All right, let's finish up, Gary, and then we're going to move on to a letter that was sent to Mr. Gensler and what some Congress people are expecting from him. So here we go.
FTX was reportedly using more than half of customer assets to fund risky bets at Alameda Research. As you said, broker-dealers are explicitly banned from trading with customer assets. You suggested to me back in July that perhaps that this would apply, traditional broker rules would apply to crypto firms, but
they should be
tailored to crypto as well. So can we expect rules that are specifically tailored to crypto on this and other areas next year?
Look, this is a field that has caught the worldwide public attention around the globe. I would remind the public, if I could, this is a highly speculative asset class. These 10,000 projects, many will fail because entrepreneurs in all sorts of walks of business fail. Many will fail also because history tells us that we don't need and don't use microcurrencies.
We don't need and we don't use microcurrencies.
We have the euro, we have the sterling, the pound. There's a reason for that economically. But if the investing public wants to invest in these tokens,
just hold on.
they need the appropriate.
No.
Tells us that we don't need and don't use microcurrencies. We have the dollar, we have the yen, we have the euro, we have the sterling, the pound. There's a reason.
There it is, guys. There it is. We don't need and we don't use microcurrencies. We have the dollar, we have the pound. What does that tell you? To me, that tells you they are scared that not necessarily Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency, what it can do, what blockchain can do is going to replace the old, worn out BS fiat system of monetary policy.
The most manipulated instrument in the history of mankind, the fiat currency is what he's promoting here. And he's like, hey, I get it. I get it. There's thousands. There's a large percentage of crap tokens that will never materialize.
You could say 90% of them are crap.
Probably
I
over
agree
90%.
with that statement.
Yeah, 95%. But it doesn't mean that you just shut down the whole industry because there is fraud in a large group of the tokens. And that's what happens when you have free market. People take advantage. It's the same thing. You can sit here and be like, yo, we want to shut down the internet. Remember when the internet first started? Remember when you first got on the internet? What was the chances of you catching a virus when you went to download a song or watch a video? You pretty much had 100%.
As high as Gary's hairline.
You had pretty much a 100% chance if you wanted to interact with media on the internet in the early days. You pretty much had a 100% chance you're going to get a virus on your computer. And that's just what it was. Did we shut down the internet? Were we like, yo, the internet is destroying the computers and we don't need the internet. We have fax machines and we have typewriters. Like, no. And the same thing. This is the next technology in finance. This is the next road stop. This is it. It is here. And you know what? You open the door for innovation. You also let in scam artists. It's part of the game, man. It's in every industry. This is no exception. But to stifle innovation because of a handful of corrupt members, it's asinine and you're setting the whole industry backwards. We got some super chats. Some super chats.
Ultimo Maya.
Ultimo Maya dropped
$1.99.
$1.99 and didn't say anything, but cool. Don't need to say nothing. Just throw that money. And then we got T Holmes throwing $5 super chat. He says, Gary Gensler taught a blockchain course at MIT. Yeah, he's not stupid. And it's funny you bring that up because everybody, when Gary Gensler got elected
Oh, we were dumb
When
excited.
Dude,
We were dumb excited.
Everybody was like, "Yo, crypto to the moon, baby!" Like it was the coming of the next the crypto czar, right? It was the best thing. I mean, if you were to sit here and rewind before you got to know this douche, if you were to rewind and you were to be like, "Yo, we got a position to fill at the SEC," who would you like it to be? Bro, for if I had a multiple choice, it was like A, former Treasury Secretary, B, some Republican from the state of Texas with very little exposure to crypto, or C, a professor that taught a blockchain course at MIT.
Seems to understand it.
MIT is literally
The gold standard.
the garden of crypto innovators. Like everybody that is anybody has been to MIT in the crypto world, right? All these like developers. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm just saying there's a large list of prominent figures in our crypto industry that built it, like the ground up infrastructure for crypto came from MIT.
Yeah.
And so I was like dumb excited. Man, how that one, man.
Here's the thing,
that's like getting a girlfriend. And you're like, she got everything.
What he said
she got family, she got a car, she got education.
What Gary
and then you go down that rabbit hole. She batshit crazy, man. She over here keying your car, flattening your tires.
Okay. What Gary said about entrepreneurs and
I'm
a majority of them fail, he's 100% true. But if you stifled that and you said, well, majority of them are going to fail, so let's not let them, Amazon would have never been born. Tesla would have never been born. It's like you got to allow, like someone brought it, a congressperson said, it's got to be a sandbox where people are allowed to make mistakes, right? And that's how innovation grows. So if they try to overregulate this thing, guess what? America's going to fall behind just like they've done on multiple other things. And then they're going to try to catch back up when literally it's right in front of you. It's in front of you. Just be smart. Don't mess this up. All right. So Gary was sent a letter. The Honorable Gary the Gun, chair of the Securities and Exchange Commission's. We have questions regarding your enforcement of the cryptocurrency and blockchain firms. And then here are some things that they want.
Where's this letter from?
This is from this is dated March. This was brought up. This was in March. This was from Tom, Ted Budd, Byron Donalds, Tom Emmer, Darren Soto. These are all members of Congress. Okay. And so this was sent to him in March of this year. And they asked him, what kind of voluntary document requests have you made? On average, over the last 5 years, how many questions did your agency ask in these voluntary document requests? What is the average timeline of each company that responds to these? In the last 5 years, what are the expected compliance costs? Has the SEC conducted a cost-benefit analysis to determine the fairness of its requests? And these are questions that were being asked of Gary Gensler, and now he is under... You say the gun. He's under pressure as to why FTX happened and how it slipped through the cracks of his agency. So
it didn't slip through the cracks. It slipped through the front door because he had the door open for Sam Bankman-Fried. There wasn't no crack there. That wasn't even a slip. That was oh damn, my homie went down. Right? Yeah. Which is interesting because I want to pull up this. There's a couple people that also went down with the ship, and it was none other than Anthony Scaramucci and Kevin O'Leary, who were here having a joint meeting
in Vegas.
No, I didn't mean like here.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they're at some finance conference. Anyways, and
I have
Mr. Wonderful is jealous of his.
For him.
Mr. Wonderful is jealous of Anthony's shoes, apparently. I remember we were talking about this the other day.
Yeah, those are Caterpillar,
Yeah, do you like these shoes here?
No.
The ones that have like Lego blocks on the bottom? Not even the Lego. What are the Duplo, the stupid freaking Legos nobody likes?
Why are they
stupid? It's like Duplo blocks on the bottom of his
shoes. Duplo is for
shoes.
the kids. For like really young kids.
Well,
see, I get my kids, I get them to YOLO straight into the real Legos.
Yeah, because they're 8 and 9. You have a 3-year-old.
Yeah. Killer boots, man.
It's funny.
I have zero respect for Kevin O'Leary. And if I ever met him, I'd tell him that to his face.
Yeah.
Kevin, if you ever come on our show, I will tell you. Kevin, when you said you would back Sam Bankman-Fried, I lost all respect for you. Explain yourself.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Do you think that Sam Bankman-Fried has Kevin's money held hostage, and he's just trying to be nice? Because here's the one thing. Let's just say you have $20 million, $200 million, $500 million, whatever it is, locked up on FTX. And you're like, hey man, I gotta get my money back. He's like, we're working on it. And then you're like, if you go public, you're like, yo, this dude, blah, 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 you might not get your money back. And so maybe he's all like, yeah, man, he's it's all right. Yeah, I mean, we're trying to get to the bottom of this.
Man, he's just
I'm just saying, maybe he acting that way because he's trying to be nice. It's like a bully, man. A bully take your lunch money, and you be nice to him to try to get it back.
Kevin's a shark, bro.
You remember the Friday movie where the guy takes his bike? Debo takes the bike, and then he's nice to him. He's like, yeah, man, I was wondering if I can get my bike back.
Yeah. Speaking of, actually, I don't have a good segue for this, but so a Republican congressman has been hit with an ethics penalty for a crypto pump and dump. So it's not just your favorite YouTubers being accused of pumping and dumping. It's also Congress people as well. Blockworks, this source from Blockworks, Republican Representative Madison Cawthorn of North Carolina has been directed to pay more than $14,000 for his involvement in a crypto pump and dump scheme earlier this year. He bought 180 billion LGB coins for $150K on December 21st last year before offloading them on 3 occasions over an 18-day period. He was seen promoting the token online and in person multiple times, including after its price had tanked 80% in April. So, Rob, we have discussions about, promoting tokens. What this guy did, it doesn't seem like he's being fined for taking money and then the token dropping. He's being fined for not disclosing it. Are you okay with people in power, politicians, taking money, right? Because they get lobbied. They get money donated to their campaigns from pharmaceutical companies, just in general. Is it fair for them to take money from these crypto companies as long as they disclose it? Or do you think that's too much of a conflict of interest?
If you're in a position to regulate, if you have to vote to regulate an industry and you're getting paid by that industry, it's a conflict of interest. I'm not for it. However, that's never going to change. Pharmaceutical companies are always going to pass or always going to promote their own product. They're always going to lobby Congress, and Congress is going to pass bills in their favor. That's just the way a system works, whether you like it or not. So I don't think you should make an exception for crypto when there's no other exceptions out there. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's just the way this world works, man. Here in the United States, at least.
Yeah, fair enough. All right, I want to move on to Grayscale. So apparently, they're being sued by none other than Fir Tree. Fir Tree Management files a lawsuit against Grayscale. This is from Bloomberg, but printed and published by The Block. Hedge fund Fir Tree Capital Management is suing Grayscale Investment for information to investigate potential mismanagement and conflicts of interest. Fir Tree wants to use the information to push Grayscale to address a large discount it trades at relative to the Bitcoin it holds by lowering fees and resuming redemptions. This is a quote from Grayscale. In 2013, to provide investors with access to Bitcoin, always with the intention of converting it to an ETF when permitted by US regulators. So they're saying, we don't want to allow redemptions because we plan on using all this Bitcoin we have and making it into a spot exchange. What are your thoughts on this, Rob?
I don't know, man.
Should they resume redemptions? I mean, is it the investor's right? Like, if you're investing in Grayscale Bitcoin Trust, your shares should be backed by an amount of Bitcoin. The whole idea, right? So as an investor, if you're an investor of Grayscale and you're just like, yo, I just want my Bitcoin. I want whatever my shares are backed by.
It's all point. I mean, even in with Grayscale, as you know, since they were here on the topic, Grayscale's Bitcoin is not even, the price isn't even associated with Bitcoin. It follows the trend. Bitcoin go up, the price go up. Bitcoin goes down, the price go down. But it's not. What is the price of one Bitcoin in the Grayscale Trust? Was it like 40% off, right? You're going to always have this problem.
Over 50.
Is it, what is it? How much?
I believe over 50.
Over 50?
I believe.
That's not Bitcoin. And at some point, there's going to be some fundamental issue that pops up if that's the case. You can't go long term. You can't go 20, 30 years out selling a product that represents Bitcoin that has no correlation to the price, because that's not Bitcoin. And so I just have a problem with I have a problem with that whole business model. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I got.
You know who doesn't have any problems with business model is Goldman Sachs, as they are looking for crypto venture bargains. Source from Blockworks. Goldman Sachs has a strategic plan amid heavy damages caused to the crypto industry by FTX's implosion on the back of Alameda's insolvency. Goldman Sachs wants to be the buyer or investor in distressed crypto companies whose valuations have been hit by an industry-wide downturn and the fall of FTX. Goldman Sachs has already funneled $690 million in crypto and companies, including Certic, Coinmetrics, Blockdaemon, Elwood, and Anchorage Digital. It also plans to build its own blockchain, said the head of digital assets at Goldman Sachs, Mr. McDermott. Man, what do we always say on the show? What do I always say on the show, Robin? Follow the money.
Follow the tail?
Follow the money. Where are these resources going? We are technically been in a recession. You look at the technical definition of one, two quarters in a row, negative GDP growth. And where are they choosing to put their money? What are they looking at? All right, stock market's down. The economy's kind of in the tank. Feds are raising interest rates. Where are we putting our money? Oh, looks like we want to pick up some of these crypto company assets. We want to pick up some of these distressed companies. Whether you like Goldman Sachs or not, that's not the point. The point is these large hedge funds, these large companies who have massive amounts of money and access to liquidity that your traditional crypto company doesn't, where are they looking to invest money into? And it's in our space. Another company that's looking to do so is Franklin Templeton. Well, as actually, they're saying the other institutions are. Source from Crypto Globe, Sandy Call, who is a senior vice president at Franklin Templeton, shared her thoughts, saying we're hearing increasingly and seeing institutions replacing the retail money that's being withdrawn and institutional money starting to account for larger and larger shares of digital asset holdings. They quote, institutions are long-term holders. They wait for these kind of wipeouts to come in and establish positions, and they will wait for the market to turn. Do you agree, Robin, that A, institutions will replace retail money, and B, that institutions are, quote, long-term holders?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Smart money is going to get in the bear market, right? And right now, retail is running for the hills. And I think this is going to be where, because institutions were starting to get in during the bull market last run, 2020. They were starting to come in. Saw the likes of Tesla buying crypto, MicroStrategy, and the list goes on and on. There was lots of exposure, especially hedge funds started getting into crypto. And so now, obviously, if you believe in the industry and you have capital on the side, if I had, let's just say I had $100 million just sitting on the side, I had tons of disposable income, I would be DCAing into crypto right now. And I think the smartest institutions out there are doing the same. Now, with that said, are they going all in on crypto? No. But they have a portfolio. I could see institutions at this point saying, hey, the value of crypto is phenomenal right now, and I'd like to get some exposure to Bitcoin, some exposure to Ethereum, and why not allocate 1 to 3% of my treasury assets, 5%, whatever it is, to crypto. And I think that's what we're seeing now. And then also other financial players that are involved in the financial ecosystems are building out the systems, ramping up liquidity, putting the infrastructure in place to offer crypto services moving forward for the next bull run when retail comes back.
The Gold Eagle.
I do want to give a couple shout outs. We got some new people in here as well. So we got Two Bros Mining, Tyler B. We got James Stever, Cliff Smith, Premark, J-Man, Johnny Doe, Laddie Daddy, the Gold Eagle. Hola! Welcome, Sin City Crypto.
Laddie Daddy said, plan is to keep retail out. They will gladly let you back in after the price peaks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, you got a good point, bro. Guys, to all the new people in our community, welcome to the Sinner community. We go live every Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Make sure to join us tomorrow. Also, make sure to follow us on Twitter at Sin City Crypto 1. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok. Check out our merch store where the Don is giving you an offer you cannot refuse, 10% off. If you got an ugly Christmas sweater party around the corner, feel free to go. We have a Sin City ugly Christmas sweater you can don at your parties. Also, if you have any of our merch, take a picture, tag us on Twitter. We will retweet it. We'll show you some love. We will see you guys again tomorrow. Rocco! Friends, family, friends and family and family friends. We thank you guys so much for joining us on this beautiful hump day. We are looking forward to seeing you again tomorrow. On behalf of myself, Robin, the Don, and Kyler Murray. We love you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care.